Well, I've got this buckskin. The question is, what do I do with it? With Christmas coming and not being able to buy presents, I'm going to try and make my girlfriend a purse, which isn't really her style. She's not really like a kind of hippie, Indian moccasin girl, but hopefully she likes it anyways.
I decided to use this graph paper because every grid is a 1/4 inch, which makes it pretty easy to measure everything out and keep it square and everything. So I figured out my stencils and I cut them all up and put them together just to make sure I'm going to end up with something that fits together in the long run and is what I want, size and shape wise. So this is actually 4 pieces of paper. You see I've designed it so that the inside has 2 pockets, and then there will be a 3rd little slip in between that she can slide her credit cards in there, or, I don't know, her phone or whatever. And then the back side has a piece that comes up and over that'll come down and fasten like this. You can see the strap is extra long because I think I'm going to braid the strap, and so that it'll end up being shorter, but I can't really tell how much shorter. And then the strap is going to go on the inside and it'll go all the way down in between these 2 tabs right here. So the strap will go through there, so that'll secure both this and the strap. It'll be double thick there. This is basically, here is 2 loops that go down and then up, and then down and then up. So that makes this double pocket with a 3rd pocket inside. And then there's 1 piece that goes down, around the bottom, and up. And then also this bottom piece has this that comes off, so when it goes across it's extra wide, so that I can have these hang down and maybe cut some tassels on there or something. That really was a mind bender trying to figure this out, and that's the easy part. Anyway, hopefully I can finish this by Christmas. So when you're laying out your hide, ideally you want to go neck to tail, like lengthwise on the hide. And otherwise you want to go side to side, but don't go diagonally. This is because of the grain structure, so if you go diagonally it's going to want to twist and stretch weird.
I was talking to my buddy that does leather work, and he says the easiest way to do it is to just contact glue it together so it'll hold while you're stitching it. I have some contact cement, so that's convenient for me. You can mark the hide with the pencil, and the pencil will wash off, apparently. I'm just marking where I'm going to stitch this on this bottom here. Start out by taking your stitcher with the lace away from you. There's a little groove right here, so the groove should be away on the needle. Then you're just going to push it through wherever you want your first stitch to be. Try not to stab yourself. On the other side, pull it back just a little bit until it starts to fray, and then pull on the side that's not attached to the stitcher. Alright, now that you pull that through, put your needle back. You need to pull through enough line here to do your entire stitch. So you need to get your entire stitch. We want to go there, and the thing says 3 inches more. I'm gonna give myself a little extra. Well, you go over about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, then push your next stitch through on your line, and then pull it back to make a loop. Now this is important. You got to be on the side that doesn't have the notch on it. So you're going through the side that's closest to you if you're holding it with the bead away from you. Pull it through. Then you got to pull this all the way through until this loop comes back through. See that loop there? And then you pull both directions and pull it snug. There's your first stitch.
My buddy that works with leather showed me one of these and challenged me to figure it out. It's all one piece. See, it just tapers off and there's no 3 pieces there. And it goes all the way across. The same thing on this side. So it's one piece of leather that's all braided, which I gotta say, it took me a long time to figure it out, but I did. And it's gonna make a nice purse strap.
Here's a few things I've learned about stitching making this bag. First of all, it's good to have a piece of beeswax. If you take your thread and you just run this down your thread, it'll really keep it so it goes through the holes really easy, and also stops it from fraying is really helpful. Also, so as you're going, it doesn't matter which way you hold this, but generally I'm finding that it's easier to work with the side that the thread goes through facing the last stitch. So you're kind of going like this, and then the little knob is this way, but if I was going the other way, then it would be flipped over. And what I learned, which is really helpful, was I was just going like this and then going, and that makes basically a line with all these dots in it. So if you actually take it and pull from the inside and the outside just right, you can get it where it's like in between the two layers of the leather. So see, there you can't see it, and there you can't see it. So then you end up with stitches that, see, this is pretty much just a nice stitch on the inside and a nice stitch on the outside, because that lock knot is in between the two layers of leather.
I just finished Al's purse. You can see I made a little button clasp here. I did some little ornamental stitching around the edges. There's the tassels that I was showing you. The top, this is that braided piece. It was a little flimsy, so I actually put another piece on the bottom and then stitched all across the braid, so you can see there's a nice little detail there. So if we open this up here, you can see I did some decorative stitching around the button here just to make it look nicer. It just looked like it was kind of hanging out there. There's the inside. There's the 3 pockets I was talking about. There's 2 main pockets, and there's also the smaller pocket where I also put another jade bead. The pocket's pretty handy for a purse because since it actually closes, you won't lose things. And then I also stitched on the sides here so that even when it's not buttoned, it's not just gonna fall out. You gotta kind of get in there and get around to the edges. Put this backing right here, and I did a French twist stitch on the other side. It was kind of caving in when I flipped this over, so that structure really holds it together. And then here's the French twist. That's a pretty cool little stitch. And here's my little glyph I put on, my little turtle. Anyway, I'm happy with how this purse turned out. For my first leatherworking project, it's not too bad. Next on the list, will it be loincloth? Or maybe I can get some more skins and make some pants. I want some killer buckskin pants really bad.